So let's take a look at the iPhone 13 Pro and compare it against the iPhone 11 Pro and see which specific phone you should go and pick up. Now, funny enough, both these phones are the ones that I've personally used. I love my iPhone 11 Pro and I love my iPhone 13 Pro. These are very, very good iPhones that I could not recommend enough. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, the links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones, the iPhone 11 Pro has a pretty good 5.8-inch Retina OLED display, Super Retina OLED display, and it's a good-looking panel. I used to use this phone basically every single day, and I had like very little things to complain about within this device. I think this phone looked beautiful. I think overall it still feels very good. It's like the perfect size almost, and it's a 60 hertz panel, so it's not like the highest refresh rate or the highest resolution. But it's a good looking panel, and personally I do think this is a pretty good looking phone when it comes down to it. There's not a lot to complain about here. You still have the notch, a little bit of bezel around it, but I think it looks pretty good. And like I said, this is still a very, very good looking panel for this day and age. Now with the iPhone 13 Pro, this is it's a much nicer panel. So we're getting a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. And this is a very, very good panel. First of all, we're getting a flat side on this iPhone, so there seems to be a little bit less bezel, at least visually. Getting the notch up top that's a little bit slimmer. It's a bigger panel, but also it's 120 hertz. That is something that is really, really nice. Getting a 120 hertz panel on your iPhone, it is a game changer, and it really future-proofed this iPhone. Like, I don't even feel like upgrading from this iPhone anymore because I still feel like it's a very, very up-to-date device. So definitely the iPhone 13 Pro I think gives you a much better panel for sure. Now for the rest of the body, you can kind of tell that, again, because of that flat side, you're kind of getting a different type of architecture. I don't know if that's the right word to put it, but essentially that curved side on the iPhone 11 Pro gives it a little bit, they both feel good, but I definitely do think the iPhone 13 Pros feels a little bit more premium. You're getting lightning ports at the bottom, on the back. Interestingly enough, you are getting basically the similar type of styling. So we're getting triple camera setups on the back of these devices, which is honestly pretty nice. Again, having a triple camera setup like that is very, very cool, and I'm glad that we're getting that type of capability right there because it's awesome. Having the ability of zooming in, zooming out a lot is really cool. We're getting that additional LiDAR sensor right there too, which is really nice. We are getting our MagSafe capability on the iPhone 13 Pro. The iPhone 11 Pro only has standard wireless charging, but we are getting frosted glass backs behind both of these devices, which is honestly very, very nice. IP certification on both phones too. I don't know why my marks are getting here, I'm not even that sweaty. But that kind of covers it up on the outside. Both these phones I think are still future-proofed quite a bit, but I definitely do think the iPhone 13 Pro is definitely taking the cake when it comes down to the most future-proofed iPhone of them all right now. Now on top of that, within this device, we're getting very, very solid software updates for now. The iPhone 11 Pro, is the older one by at least like 2 years. So because of that, you're not going to be getting the same amount of software updates on the iPhone 11 Pro that you would be getting on the iPhone 13 Pro. That's just kind of what happens when you're getting an older device like the 13 Pro or the 11 Pro. So it's not the end of the world, but again, just one of those slight things to kind of think about there. So the iPhone 13 Pro is going to outlast the 11 Pro in terms of software updates. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these devices. The iPhone 11 Pro has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 13 Pro has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigs of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. Getting into all these apps, they're all cleared out in the background. Let's get into it. App stores, 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone 13 Pro does seem to be faster there. This will pop up here. Scrolling through, let's see if there's a big difference. And as always, I don't really think there's going to be a massive difference here. Let's go and hop out of these two. Let's go and get into some of these other applications that we have between both. So we can try something like Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. So you can see even right here, there are slight differences. The 13 Pro did seem to be a little bit faster, but we did get into this one little error here. So we do have to kind of consider that. I do find it kind of weird that it even did that in the first place, but just one of those things we have to kind of think about here. Hopping out of this one, let's go and try something like Roblox. Actually, let's not do that. I guess let's do it. 3, 2, 1. And of course, we have to upgrade that app, so that's not even going to work. Let's go and try a different one. Let's go and try something like Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Looks like we have to have another update here. Let's try Netflix. 3, 2, 1. Okay. 13 Pro again is the faster one. I'm expecting the 13 Pro to be the faster one every time. Dropbox. 3, 2, 1. 13 Pro again is the faster one. Let's go and try stack. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the 13 Pro was the faster one there. 11 Pro slightly slower. Hopping out of here. Snake versus blocks. 3, 2, 1. Totally messed that one up. But I'm curious to see if it still loads up faster on the 13 Pro, which it might. And it was almost identical, so you could have seen that the 13 Pro would have been actually faster overall. Let's go and try something like Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. They have two different icons now, so this one might be outdated. And it looks like the 13 Pro is the faster one. The 11 Pro, a little bit slower. Of course, we're getting pop-ups, so of course it's going to skew the test a little bit. Hopping out of these, let's go and get into something like Thank You. 3, 2, 1. And the 13 Pro, again, I think was the faster one there. So I think overall, when it comes down to it, it's quite clear to me which one is the faster one consistently. I think the 13 Pro is the faster one almost every single time. And that's just kind of what happens, I think, when you're getting a device like this. The 13 Pro consistently, I think, is the fastest one. The 11 Pro, I think, is still very, very fast, but I think the 13 Pro is probably going to be the faster one when it comes down to it, which is quite obvious. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of the cameras between them, I actually am a big fan of the cameras between both these devices. I feel like Apple has done a really good job between these two phones, and that's something I'm really, really happy about. So we are getting a similar type of quality, so we're getting triple camera setups on both, wide, ultra-wide telephoto lenses. But like I mentioned, you are getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back of both these devices, which is really cool. So you have that type of capability of zooming in and zooming out a lot, and that's something I really like between these two devices too. Is it perfect? No, but I do think Apple's done a good job here, and there's really, again, not a lot to complain about here between these two devices. So between both, you have the ability, again, of zooming in, zooming out. You can see my foot right there. And you can see right here, we have, a 10x zoom here, and zooming out, we have 0.5x zoom. So still a lot of capability of zooming in and zooming out. You have video mode, slow mode, time lapse, you have portrait mode. So lots and lots of good quality camera here, which is something that I really do like, and it gets a thumbs up for me for sure. With the iPhone 13 Pro, I think this is a very good sensor that I actually like a lot. This has been a solid sensor that I'm a huge fan of, and it's basically the camera I use on an everyday basis right now. So this type of camera, again, you're getting photo mode, video mode, cinematic mode, which is nice, slow mode, time lapse, also getting portrait mode and panorama mode. So again, there's a lot of stuff to like about this camera, but you are getting 15x zoom here versus the 10x zoom on the iPhone 11 Pro. So when it comes down to it, what I'll definitely tell you, I definitely am a big fan of the iPhone 13 Pro, and I definitely do think this is the better phone when it comes down to it. I think Apple's done a great job here. There's really not a lot of things to complain about within this device, and I do think this would be one of the first iPhones I would probably recommend people to buy. It's a very, very good iPhone. Now with the iPhone 11 Pro, I think this one is good too. I do think because of iOS 17, this one's kind of closer to the chopping block, so I would still recommend buying it, but maybe if you can go up to a 13 Pro. But if not, I think the 11 Pro is still good. It's going to be here for the next couple of years anyway. So I think you're going to be in good hands here too. But again, if you have the extra money, going up to the 13 Pro would make a lot of sense to me. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.